Yo, what's poppin', guys? Sizzle here, and today we're doing the long-awaited AK-47 CSGO weapon skin tier list, where I will go over every AK skin in the game and rank them based on how I like their design, whether I like it or not, and how much I do. First off, we have stock. Looks absolutely phenomenal. The wood on it looks super nice, super clean, and the metal on it doesn't look phenomenal, but it goes well with the wood, and just on the whole, it's a pretty solid looking stock weapon, one of the better ones in the game for sure, but with how many AK skins there are, I think I need to cap it out at high D tier. It's kind of going to be the passing point for if a skin is even worth using for the AK, I feel. There's just so many good options that, if it's not even better than stock, then why even bother? Anyway, next up we have our first actual skin, the AK Predator. Basic recoloring of it with a pretty shitty set of orange, brown stripes going across the whole thing. It doesn't look good at all, at least in comparison to stock. I would definitely use stock over this any day of the week, and therefore it will be going straight into F tier. Next up, we have the AK-47 Jungle Spray, and this one somehow looks even worse. Like, the pattern is just awful, and the colors are just so much worse. I'm actually gonna move things around, where the Predator's gonna go back up because it's at least pretty usable, I'd say. But this one is a weapon I would never, weapon skin I'd never want to even use. Jungle Spray, just hard F tier. Then we have the AK Safari Mesh, pretty classic skin for the P250, and a somewhat okay-ish one for stock. Depending on who you ask, this could definitely be better or worse than stock. In my personal opinion, I find it to be a little bit worse than stock, but could easily be redeemed with some old stickers and stuff that might look good on it or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely a D tier type of skin, even if it's better or worse. Then we have the AK Barak Purple, which doesn't come with those stickers. I don't know why so many of the AK reviews have stickers on, but yeah, it's got a pretty nice, just generally clean, gray pattern on it. Very, bland in a good way type of skin. And just, pretty solid. Pretty hard to go too wrong with, but definitely nothing, super fancy or whatever. So I'm gonna definitely be putting this one as a low C tier if I can find it, which will be kind of hard because there's a lot of, black-ish CS skins. Shouldn't take me too long, I don't think. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so this one's a low C tier, I think. Okay. Then we have the AK Black Laminate, and it basically takes that really nice wood from the stock AK and just makes it 100% worse, and therefore it will go 100% below stock, but definitely not an F tier. It's not like it's that much worse, but it just is worse. It's just pretty definitively. I don't think the Black Laminate looks better than stock. Then we have the AK Green Laminate, which can look better than stock, probably, with the right stickers or whatever, but without the right stickers, I think stock still looks better, so I'm going to put it right below stock, but it's definitely a lot more close than the Black Lam, which just looks 100% worse. Then, next up, we have ourselves the AK Elite build, pretty classic skin at this point. It's a pretty recent one as far as CS is concerned, but it's one a lot of people have used, myself included. It's a pretty generally clean skin. You have a very clean front and back, and the middle part, even though it is technically like a camo skin, it's really hard to notice that it is a camo skin. And on the whole, it's almost like a gray Elite build, but a lot more clean because of the nice clean black front and back. It's just solid. It's really hard to go wrong with, and it just looks pretty good. But nothing too crazy. I'd say it's just middle of the pack, dead center C tier, for that exact reason. Then we have the AK Uncharted. I actually had one of these, or maybe I still do, that had a really cool sticker craft on it. But without that, I mean, it's just like a more wooden AK with some semi-interesting designs on it. I'd say it's probably, depending who you ask, this is either better or worse than stock. In my opinion, it's really close. I couldn't really tell you for certain, but I'd say it's probably marginally better than stock, or marginally worse. It's honestly, if you ask me this same question 5 days in a row, I'll give you 5 different answers. It's right on par with stock, I'd say. They both have their own benefits, so it goes sort of the top of D tier. Then we have the AK Emerald Pinstripe. which I think is the one I'm currently using because I have like an iBuyPower just sticker on there somewhere. But without the iBuyPower sticker, it is basically stock with slightly worse looking wood, but with these random like green and white designs on it, which don't really add a lot. I'd say stock actually looks better. I'm purely using this skin because of the sticker craft, but I think it also looks better than the green laminate, so I'm going to put it above that. Then we have the AK First Class, which, you know, it replaces the nice wood of stock with this pretty awful looking green like leather. It makes it look 80 times more bland and 80 times less cool, so I will be putting this one like way down there. I think I actually already put it down there, so the black lamb is definitely below it, but I think it's right above the black lamb. It does not look that good. It's primarily a trade-up skin. It's like $100 purely for trade-ups, and because it's rare. Then we have the AK Safety Net, which I actually got as an in-game drop, but I've pretty much never used because it looks pretty awful. Like, the front looks pretty cool, this white part here looks pretty nice, the black mag looks pretty dope, this weird orange, like, safety net thing just looks bad. Straight up looks awful, and especially because I normally have this pixelation bug, it just makes it look a bit worse. I would use stock over this, but I think it's a decent contender because it's at least noticeably different and pretty bright. You'll at least know that you have a skin equipped, but it just is not a good one. Then we have the AK Blue Laminate, which I think is the last laminate we have to look at. And, you know, it's, this one could very easily be argued to be better than stock, I'd say, but I still prefer stock to this, to be honest with you. So therefore, this one goes right under stock and D tier. Then next up, we have ourselves the AK Orbit MK01. Skin I've pretty much never seen in game, and I can kind of see why. I mean, it's just a super bland, like, techie skin, but with very little detail, a lot of dullness, and just okay colors. But I'd say it's probably a low C tier. I think it passes up pretty much everything in D tier. Even if it's not the best, it's definitely just not awful. Then we have the AK Rat Rod, and this one's kind of dope. It's one of those, like, you know, random detail type of things, but where it's not too much going on. Where you have like the nice teeth in the middle, the nice centerpiece, a general like light blue coloring, which is kind of nice. You do have stuff like car oil and stuff, but not a lot of it. There's like a few stickers here and there. And this, you know, this is like an AK someone's used for a bit in like a wasteland setting or something. It looks pretty clean, pretty solid. Definitely a pretty decent AK skins as far as they go. I'd say for now it's going to be a B tier, but there's a very high chance it gets moved down because there's a lot of crazy AK skins out there. But yeah, I think it's at least a low B tier for now. Then we have a really, really good AK skin, the AK Slate. And this is just an absurdly clean black AK. I think pretty much all conditions look like this and don't have like any real scratches or anything. There's like more or less dark. This thing, you know, on its own, it's just absurdly clean, pretty good looking. I'd say the skin on its own, just for its own merits, would probably be a low A tier. But the fact that you can put stickers on it makes this thing like, you know, it's using the word slate because it's like a clean slate. And you could craft whatever sticker combos you want, and it will probably look good on this thing. This thing is absurdly clean, absurdly solid looking. And I'd say still, even with that, probably an A tier, because there's some really nasty good AK skins out there. Next up, we have the AK Jet Set, which, yeah, after coming off of that one, is a lot less impressive. It replaces the stock wood with leather yet again, but instead of an awful green leather, it's just a normal leather, which is kind of cool. And it also adds a few random like the E3 and the little snake and this are not stickers that are normally on the skin. But you can see behind that there's like a few like postage stamp looking type stickers, and those are normally there, which makes this work pretty well with a lot of sticker crafts. But other than that, like small benefit, it does look worse than stock, kinda. But when you add just any stickers, it does end up looking marginally better than stock, to the point that I could realistically put this at the bottom of C tier, I'd say. But that's about as far as I'll push it. You know, on the whole, this is not really that much different than stock, that much better in any real capacity. I'm gonna have a really hard time finding this one. It's just so marginally different. Really could be any of these. I guess it's just not here, or if it is, I'm just not seeing it. So I just know it'd be right here, where this thing is. I think this might actually have been it. I mean, like one of these is the other one. So I guess yeah, there you go. It's in bottom of C tier, and the other thing from before is in B tier still. Then next up we have the AK Hydroponic, a pretty infamous trade-up skin, which is kind of unfortunate because it's a really good looking skin. You have wood. It might be the same as stock, or it's debatably better, with a just really clean white center and a nice green tip to it. This thing is absurdly clean, absurdly good looking, and I'm kind of sad that they keep getting removed out of the game for trade-ups. It's just such a good skin. I'd say it's probably well deserving of at least an A tier, possibly S depending on how much you like that cleanliness, that like visibility, the brightness of it. It just looks great. Then we have the AK Panther Orca on the other hand, which is basically just a camo skin with a panther on it, which sometimes people put funny stickers on the head of the panther and call that like a craft or whatever. On the whole though, the actual skin is just a pretty shitty camo skin. I put it like honestly below stock. I'd use stock over this thing and just put it like somewhere in the middle of D tier. Then next up we have the AK Red Laminate, which should finally actually be the last laminate that we should go through. And the Red Lam, yet again, I think just looks worse than the wood on stock, but only marginally this time. Like the other ones, a lot more debatable. This one, I could really see an actual argument for this looking better than stock, but for me personally, it's just ever so slightly worse than stock, and therefore it just goes right below it here. Then we have the infamous AK Case Hardens. This one's super pattern dependent. You can either have something with a lot of blue at the top here, which is super desired. You can have more gold, and you have some purple, but it's mainly blue or gold because there's so much ground to cover here. And it has that nice stock wood with just a really nice shiny middle. And when you have a nice blue shine here, it looks absolutely fucking phenomenal. There's a reason people pay like, I think it's hundreds of thousands of dollars for those really nice looking ones for this skin. It just looks super great. And it's a really nice, yeah, just a really nice skin. That's all there is to really say about it. It's really clean, really nice. But really, I don't know if it's the top of the top. I think there are skins that look better than it. And honestly, on average, the Hydroponic probably does look better, but with a really nice blue gem, I think it's pretty hard to argue against this thing being A tier. Yeah. Then we have the AK Redline, which, yeah, just a clean... This was the Elite build before the Elite build. The Elite build's used because it's cheaper, generally, but if these were the same price, this is just a better Elite build. Just more clean, more nice... just more solid. Right? There's actually like nothing wrong with this thing. There's just nothing super amazing either, but it's pretty solid across the board. I'd say it's definitely deserving of at least a B tier. Then we have the AK Cartel, probably one of my least favorite skins on all of CS because it's literally just stock. I mean, this is a straight upgrade to stock. You have these like cool little like bolts and stuff that are integrated with the design, like the skull head there and stuff. It is just a better stock, to be fair. And I'm gonna put this in C tier, but maybe I'm thinking of a different weapon. I'm thinking of like the Deagle or something. But there's some weapon skin where like there's just like a minor design difference, and it's basically identical to stock. And I thought it was also called the Cartel. Maybe I'm wrong with that. But this one, you know, you got some nice designs in the middle, like a skull here and there, and then the skull integrated with the bolts looks really dope. Kind of looks like it's staring at you. There's even one on the mag. It's just a cleaner stock. That's all it really is. And for that, I think it deserves to be probably center of C tier, honestly. And it fixes like the one bad point of stock, which was the center being kind of iffy. And then next up, we have the AK Frontside Misty. This was one a lot of people like for a long time. I think there's a better version of this now, you know, in the game, like the Ice or whatever from the Recoil collection, but this one's still pretty good. Really nice colors, pretty okay pattern, and it's mainly just the amazing vibrant colors that make this one so good. I think it's probably just a high C tier. It's got cool colors and an okay pattern. Then we have the AK Point Disarray, which, yeah, it's got okay colors and a really confusing pattern. Probably, I'd say a bad pattern, honestly. It just does not look good, like the actual design on the skin. But the colors are nice, so I'll give it credit for that and put it at the bottom of C tier. Then next up, we have the AK Phantom Disruptor. This one, you have like, they try to do the, whatchamacallit, the Hyper Beast thing here, except it's a lot less cool and a lot more like monotone. You can see like one single color for the monster instead of a lot of vibrant colors popping out at you. You just see this like white like goo almost across the whole thing. These teeth at the front look almost random, like they shouldn't be there, and there's like randomly wood here when there's not wood in the back anymore. The whole design is just kind of iffy. I really wouldn't use this. There's a lot better, like nicer AK designs out there. So I'd realistically put this one probably just somewhere in D tier. Honestly, D tier is so clustered at this point that it doesn't really matter where in D tier it is. Then we have the AK Ice Cold, which is the one I was talking about. This is like the cleaner front side Misty. It's a very nice like bluish, mainly blue, and the side of green on the top here, and the rest of it's just a nice clean finish. I mean, it's just super clean, super beautiful colors, all in the right place. It's just amazing. I think it's definitely an A tier. I think I would move the Hydroponic and Case Hardens up to S tier until I remember why they weren't there originally, which maybe they should have just been there from the get-go. But yeah, that's all there's to say about that one. Then there's the AK Wild Lotus. This one's pretty cool, I guess. I don't know why it's as valued as it is. I think it's just super rare, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's a decently, it's a really nice color of green as a background, and then a pretty nice, floral design on the front here. I'd say it's probably a B tier for me personally. I don't know why it's as expensive as it is. I guess it is just absurdly rare. But it's got nice colors and a nice pattern, but nothing too crazy for me. I do like a lot of cleanliness a lot more, and more crafts and stuff. Then there's the AK XRay, which honestly looks kind of like shit. You have like wood in the back here, and that's like the best part, and every other part in the middle here is basically impossible to see anything that's going on, other than like the bullets being loaded here or whatever. It looks bad, I'm just gonna be honest. I don't know why people like this skin or why it's expensive at all. It's like middle of the path D tier for me. Yeah. Then next up we have the AK Gold Arabesque. Very simple, clean gold design, but with this awful texture on the front and back that just really detracts a lot from it. Now, to be fair, if they made this completely golden, it'd look awful, but I think they could have really spent some more time on the front and back here to make it look a bit cleaner. But it's still just absolutely phenomenal, absolutely clean, just super noticeable, recognizable, and good. Definitely an S tier skin, for sure. Then we have the AK Fire Serpent, which is a pretty infamous skin for a lot of trade-ups. It takes that middle part of stock and replaces it with like some kind of dragon texture. Honestly, I don't know why this one gets as much love as it does. I mean, it's definitely probably better than stock because the design fits kind of well and it looks okay. But it's still mostly stock and it's only like marginally different. Yeah, but I guess it is better than stock. So therefore, by the same rules, it goes somewhere in D tier, probably toward the middle. Probably honestly under the Cartel. I think I like the Cartel a bit more. And I think that's where the Fire Serpent goes. Then next up, we have the AK Vulcan. And this is the better frontside Misty I was thinking of. This is the frontside Misty with slightly different color blue that looks a bit better, and a much better pattern. Now, as to why this pattern's better, I could not tell you. It just looks better to me. Maybe it's because there's a more abundance of like black around the outlines, and it makes the white pop a lot more, or something like that. But it's just better, basically a better frontside Misty in my opinion. Definitely a very solid high B tier, I would say. Then next up, we have ourselves the AK Jaguar, which, yeah, I mean, this is the same as that other skin, except better for crafts. A lot of people do crafts right over the Jaguar head here, especially with the eye by power, because it goes like perfectly over the head here. But yeah, it's like a camo AK swap with a much cooler design in the middle than the other one, which I think puts it probably toward the up C tier. Probably right under the Elite. So that's not even the right skin. This is the right skin, right around the upper end of C tier. Speaking of that skin that I just moved, that was the AK Wasteland Rebel, our next skin, which looks really nice, honestly. It's like a Anarchy AK, Got really nice colors in the middle, with the white and black, and then the black tip as well. And then the woods are like scratched up and has like patterns and stuff to kind of symbolize anarchy as well. Make them cry, and then like skull with the guns going through, whatever. Just a pretty solid looking skin. I've seen this one a lot in game, and it's always super noticeable and normally looks really solid in almost every setting. It's pretty hard to go wrong with this one, and for that reason, I'd say it's probably a high B tier as well. Then we have the AK Aquamarine Revenge, which, yeah, decent color green here. You got these like fire dolphins coming through the middle that you can see, and otherwise it's a generally pretty bland skin. If you like the pattern a lot or like the design a lot, then that's why you get this skin. But for everyone else, I mean, it's just pretty solid. I'd say it's a high C tier. Pretty hard to go wrong with, and very easy to go right with. Then we have the AK Fuel Injector, which, yeah, pretty decent yellow base with a interesting idea with a very metallic fronts and mag, and then just a clean back. Does not come with a Scream sticker, fortunately. But yeah, it's generally a pretty nice looking one. I mean, it's got a really nice color yellow and a generally nice finish for the rest of the skin. I'd say it's probably an A tier. I like the colors a lot. I like the color yellow a lot. It's one of my favorite. Yeah, that's heavy bias, personal bias right there. Then we have the AK Neon Revolution, which, yeah, it's like a predominantly pink, like Splatoon looking gun with some nice green edges. Basically, it takes what the Wasteland Rebel did and changes the colors a bit to make it look a bit more vibrant and just nice. And I really like what they did with it. I'd say it's definitely an A tier. Straight up. Then we have the AK Bloodsports, and it's one of those skins with a pretty solid looking backdrop, just covered in a bunch of random ass logos that completely ruin the skin for me. Yeah, I mean, it's a really nice color of red, a decent color of white, and some nice like blackish gray. And most of the gun itself actually looks really nice, but there's just logos plastered everywhere that just completely distract you and make this thing look 80 times worse. It's like a sponsored gun or whatever. And for that reason, it goes probably down to like the top of C tier, but it still has amazing color and a really good pattern in the background, which makes it good enough for the top of C tier, I'd say. Then we have the AK the Empress. I've seen this one a lot in game, and I can kind of see why. It's got a really dope design in the middle, like a heavy focus, like rings around, the Empress herself with her hair kind of flowing and the crown very visible in the center. You have this kind of cool looking mag here, and a pretty solid like kingly or queenly looking front, like a crown right there, and a nice like galaxy in the background. It's like the Galaxy Empress or whatever. Looks absolutely amazing as a design. The one downside to this one is because the design is so good, it's really hard to do any sticker crafts for this thing. So you're gonna have a skin that looks like a lot of other people who have the same skin, which is kind of unfortunate, but the skin itself is phenomenal and probably really well deserving of an A tier. Placement, probably about the Slate. I'd honestly say it's really, really good. I love the design on it. It's amazing. Then we have the AK Neon Rider, which, yeah, it's got this cool like thing of X's on the top that work well with lighting. The helmet is kind of like indented a bit, so you can kind of almost look inside it when you move it from side to side. Like a cool eye on the helmet or whatever, and just generally a phenomenal color scheme on here, and a pretty decent design with like this little heartbeat right here and whatnot. It's just a really solid design, a really great colors, really great skin. I'd say it's probably also definitely an A tier contender, one of the better AK skins in the game. Then we have the AK Asimov, and I mean this one just looks amazing. Predominantly white, so pretty solid there. Some nice orange at the right parts. And then a lot of black. I don't know if the black, like here and on the mag, should be there. I think it detracts a little, and there's a bit too much of it there, which makes this a bit less clean than like the Op Asimov, which is one of my favorite skins in all of CS. But it still looks really good. I mean, it's still really vibrant. It has a lot of nice colors, and probably pretty well deserving of a high B tier, just general cleanliness and colors. Then we have the AK Legion of Anubis, which is one I've also seen a lot of. And I couldn't tell you why as much. Unlike the Empress, where there's like one central design that's very focused and draws your attention right away, this is one where you have to look closer at it to actually notice all the finer details that make it kind of cool. Like You have like this little eye in like a wall back here, or like I guess there's like a mummy or something. See there, it's like their hair right here. You have some guy with like lemon eyes right here, and then you obviously have the Anubis like dog cat thing in the middle here, and then some golds here and there, and just I don't know. There's a lot going on here, and it's really hard to see most of it, and that's kind of the big problem. It's almost like too much detail to the point that you get distracted and don't even recognize the skin for what it is, because I sure don't. And for me, that puts it probably toward the middle of C tier, honestly. I think even the Aquamarine Revenge is a bit more like visually appealing. Then we have the AK Elite Museo, which, yeah, I mean, it's got an interesting abstract style of skin. You have like the abstract sticker, abstract chicken, and two abstract T agents with like an AK. Both of them have AKs, and there's even a chick in the back. There's like a car up here, some palm trees. It's just a nice mix of like abstract-ish like art. Pretty dope, but nothing too fancy. Nice colors, decent pattern, probably deserving of like a middle of the path B tier type of placement. And then our final, there's two more skins, so I guess I'm missing a few things from this. I pulled the images from a while ago. Okay, the final skin that I will be including today, because I'm not including the Revolution case, because that's a new one, is the AK Nightwish, and this one's dope. It's like a Hyper Beast on steroids, with this cool-ass thing in the middle, with a bunch of just, like, galaxy swirls around it, and then it changes color, depending on the lighting, and I've seen this effect in-game, like, it actually changes colors for real. It looks absolutely stunning in-game, like the holo effect, and it's integrated really well with the design, right on the focal point of the really cool, like, dragon monster-looking thing that's, like, floating throughout space. It's just a really, really dope skin. I'd say it's easily an S tier. I'd also probably say the Hydroponic I actually generally prefer over the Case Harden. Like, the very specific best Case Hardens will be the highest S tier, probably. But well beyond average, Hydroponic is such a good AK skin, and I think it's genuinely slept on. It's unfortunately like super pricey now because it is like a trade-up skin, and they're getting deleted even though it's such an amazing AK skin. But yeah, that is all the AK skins in CSGO, and my opinion on how good they are. I'm sure I've made a lot of hot takes throughout this video, and I'd love to, hear your opinions on a lot of the skins and where I place them and why you might agree or disagree. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed looking at these skins as much as I did, and I will see you in the next one.